Moving on. Our main story tonight concerns antiquities. Basically, relics from bygone times that can tell us stories about people from the past. Like your nana, but less overtly racist. Specifically, our story concerns what happens when those relics go missing. And I'll start by giving you just one example. If you go to Greece, you might go to the Acropolis Museum, and while you're marvelling at sculptures that are over 2 millennia old, you might notice some odd details, like this sculpture, which appears to have a white foot, or this one, where someone's whole upper half seems to be suddenly and overwhelmingly white. It's what's known in the art world as Season 2 of The Wire. Well, there is an explanation for where those missing pieces are, and as a British person, I'm a little bit implicated.
So the darker stone is the original, whereas this white plaster, that represents what's in the British Museum?
Yes, exactly.
And here it is, in the British Museum. The missing marble head and chest floating in a display space.
Yep, we took it. Honestly, if you're ever looking for a missing artefact, 9 times out of 10, it's in the British Museum. It's basically the world's largest lost and found, with both lost and found in the heaviest possible quotation marks there. Specifically, those marbles, known in England as the Elgin marbles, were taken by Lord Elgin, a 19th century British lord who hacked them off the Parthenon. It's something that the Greeks are understandably furious about because they weren't lost, they were taken, which is clearly worse. It's like being unable to find the last puzzle piece and learning that you didn't actually misplace it. A British earl snuck into your house, stole it, and then sold it to a museum over 1,000 miles away. Greece has been demanding the return of the Elgin marbles for decades now, but the response from some of the British Museum's defenders has been, even by British standards, unbelievably patronising.
One can't even think about returning the Elgin marbles to Athens until the Greeks start caring for what they already have. I'm sure they'd take great care of the Parthenon sculptures if they were returned, but if you knew a woman was abusing her child, you wouldn't let her adopt another. And that's what the Greeks were asking for.
What? That is not a great comparison, especially because it admits the fact that the woman's child in this example was basically kidnapped. So it's less a woman asking to adopt another child than it is her demanding the return of her first one. And look, the Parthenon marbles should absolutely be returned to Greece. Even that woman you just saw now says that she thinks they should go back. But those marbles are just the tip of the iceberg here. The fact is, antiquities, largely from the global south, which includes Latin America, Africa, Asia and the Mideast, have been taken and enshrined in European and American museums on a much larger scale than you may realise. In 2018, a report commissioned by the French president found that over 90% of all Africa's cultural heritage is held outside Africa by major museums. But as the voices arguing for antiquities to be returned are getting louder, others are resisting any change. In 2010, when asked whether the UK would ever return the Kohinoor diamond to India, Prime Minister David Cameron refused, saying, if you say yes to one, you suddenly find the British Museum would be empty.